the black vote. President Truman signed an order to end segregation in the military. And in Major League Baseball, where there were 16 teams and every player on every one of those teams was white, a single black man was presented an opportunity to change the equation, to make it one black man and 399 white. The test case represented by Jackie Robinson was one of towering importance to the country. Here was a chance for one person to prove the bigots and white supremacists wrong, and to say to the nation's 14 million black Americans that the time had come for them to compete as equals. But it would happen only if a long list of ifs worked out just so. If the Brooklyn Dodgers gave Robinson the opportunity to play, if he played well, if he won the acceptance of teammates and fans, if no race riots erupted, if no one put a bullet through his head. The ifs alone were enough to agitate a man's stomach. Then came the matter of Robinson himself. He perceived racism in every glare, every murmur, every called third strike. He was not the most talented black ball player in the country. He had a weak throwing arm and a creaky ankle. He had only 1 year of experience in the minor leagues, and at 28, he was a little bit old for a first-year player. But he loved a fight. His greatest assets were tenacity and a knack for getting under an opponent's skin. He would slash a line drive to left field, run pigeon-toed down the line, take a big turn at first base, slam on the brakes, and skitter back to the bag. Then, as the pitcher prepared to go to work on the next batter, Robinson would take his lead from first base, bouncing on tiptoes like a dropped rubber ball, bouncing, taunting the pitcher, and daring everyone in the park to guess when he would take off running again. While other men made it a point to avoid danger on the base paths, Robinson put himself in harm's way every chance he got. His speed and guile broke down the game's natural order and left opponents cursing and hurling their gloves. When chaos erupted, that's when he knew he was at his best. On that April 10th morning, as he rode the subway from Manhattan to Brooklyn, Robinson understood exactly what he was getting into. One prominent black journalist had written that the ball player had more power than Congress to help break the chains that bound the descendants of slavery to lives lived in inequity and despair. Before he'd even swung a bat in the big leagues, Robinson was being compared to Frederick Douglass, George Washington Carver, and Joe Louis, with some writers concluding that this man would do more for his people than any of the others. The time had come, they said, for black Americans to stake their claim to the justice and equal rights they so richly deserved, and now a baseball player had arrived to show them the way. Robinson absorbed the newspaper articles. He felt the weight on his shoulders and decided there was nothing to do but carry it as fast and as far as he could. A cold wind met him as he climbed out of the subway onto the busy streets of Brooklyn. He walked to 215 Montague Street. Waiting for him there was Branch Rickey, a potato-shaped man in a wrinkled suit. The office was dark and cluttered. Rickey got straight to business, offering Robinson a standard contract for $5,000, the league's minimum annual salary. Simple, wasn't it? Robinson recalled later. It could have happened to you. The telephone rings, you answer it, and you're in the big leagues. Just like a fairy tale. I went to bed one night wearing pajamas and woke up wearing a Brooklyn Dodgers uniform. He knew it was no fairy tale, of course. He knew that a happy ending was far from assured. Most big leaguers in 1947 had never been on the same field as a black man, had never shared a locker room, a shower, a taxi, a train car, or a dining room table with one. Big league culture was so thoroughly dominated by white Southerners that even rough Italian kids from northern cities experienced shock and isolation upon arrival. There was no telling how Robinson would be received. He was not yet a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers and already